So I need to speak to Steve Martin. If you guys could go visit an art museum or walk the cat or... All right, Mr. Martin. I have loved your work and followed your career since I was little. My family, we watched Three Amigos as a family. We watched Roxanne as a family. We watched The Man with Two Brains, Little Shop of Horrors. Those are kind of where I jumped off. Then as I got a little bit older, I saw LA Story for the first time. That is by far one of my all-time favorite movies. I was obsessed with California when I was younger because I grew up in a small town. I think Los Angeles was just the epicenter of glamour and cultural diversity and beautiful people. What I love most about that movie is I'd rent it every weekend for a long time. I would watch LA not just the way that I glamorized it in my own mind, but also the way that you saw it, that you experienced it, and that you felt it to be. And so whenever I watched it, I still do find a nuance or new bit of dialogue or a reaction or something that I didn't see before. When I watch that movie, it's just an endless treasure trove of new experiences for me. The fact that Enya songs are woven throughout the movie speaks to the deeper inner landscape that I know you have, that for whatever reason you felt you had to just kind of release it in small doses. Usually when people do that, it's for protection, like protection of that part of yourself. It's very sensitive, very raw, very vulnerable. There's a thread of that throughout each and every one of your performances, whether it's a dramatic role like in A Simple Twist of Fate or Grand Canyon or Shop Girl, the book, and the adaptation. My first exposure to that was when I saw LA Story. Just the opening montage itself is comforting to me because it still holds up. That you caught the sheer jackass-ery with a knowing wink, like, okay, you know, but also that it's a place of dreams. There's a lot of magic there. There's a lot of dark and tragic things that happen there, but there's also some really beautiful, amazing things. I still see LA that way, even though my story took a turn in it and I have a different dream from that. I still see it that way, the way that you showed me the way that it was so long ago. So thank you. The signpost moments, I always want for things like that to happen. Just confirmation, a beautiful kind of fairy tale confirmation of the beauty and the nuance of everyday simplistic stuff. That's where we get our inspiration from. We'll be in the shower and have a brilliant thought, or we'll be, checking on our car thinking it's broke down, and then something profound happens. And to the way that you illustrated it and their kind of sweet, tender relationship that they have, the signpost and Harris K. Telemacher. And to this day, if anyone says, "Are you okay?" I see Ruach in my mind. I see the signpost with "Are you okay?" on it. It will forever be one of my absolute favorite movies. I'm a fan of even the more obscure stuff, the more not so commercially successful after a big commercial success. My Blue Heaven, Novocaine, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, that was a pretty big success. They made they did a remake of it. So even your most obscure stuff is kind of a fixture in my childhood. You're one of those people that if I see you're attached to a project, I'll watch it. A seal of quality in a lot of ways. I know that quiet introspection and that the observer in you parlays to honesty and to humor, life-affirming moments that I know it will be a part of whatever the project is. I love that. I love that just at a glance I can tell something that you're involved in will be fantastic. You are commercially successful, but when you started off in your career, which I learned from your book, Born Standing Up, back then it was way more beneficial, lucrative, less stressful to be like all the other comedians or comics at the time. But instead of being like everyone else, which you sucked at, everybody else's take and you gotta just be yourself, as Oscar Wilde said. You forged ahead and made your own groundbreaking style that was counterculture and based in being a magician and being a theater performer. That old school kind of vaudeville, kind of interesting variety, but with heart and integrity. Even though you did fall into a lucrative film career, you never lost your kind of anti-hero core. And I think that's why you're so interesting to watch and so much fun and to ingest as an audience member, is because everyone knows that they're safe with you, but at the same time, you're gonna get fucked with. Not to mention, one of my favorite aspects about you that only in recent years has really taken the foreground, which is your beautiful banjo playing. Brilliant, beautiful, wonderful banjo player. The videos that you posted during quarantine really did steal my wool and help my reserve. A few moments of clarity and calm and uplifting. For that, I'm truly thankful as well. I've always been a banjo enthusiast. It's on my list of things to do is learn the banjo. I look to you as tremendous inspiration in that, because it was always part of you. It wasn't like you reached a certain amount of fame and were like, oh, I think I'll take up the banjo. Like, it's just always been, it's like a package, you and the banjo. The fact that you are so closely associated with Martin Short, who is another just treasure. He's just a treasure. I'm bummed he's from Canada, because I would say he's a national treasure, as are you. But the fact that you guys have such a close-knit relationship and are so closely associated is just really wholesome to me. And that although I know you guys do nothing but give each other shit 24/7 as a love letter to each other all the time. That's how you know you like each other, is if it's just constant ribbing. He has been around at the same time. You guys both kind of hit fame at the same time, around the same time. And the fact that you both have lasted in the industry for so long and collaborated, so many times throughout that, just really speaks to both of your character, I think. I hope you do many more. I am thoroughly enjoying Only Murders in the Building. Keep them coming. And this is kind of embarrassing to admit, but you were always kind of a crush of mine. I was always very attracted to your characters. I'm not gonna lie. It was like equal parts. You were like a loving, wise dad or uncle, and then you were also like a total crush, like the knowing, fun, sarcastic, heart of gold guy that would show you a cultural side of your town that you never knew existed, but just do it with like whatever, it's cool kind of a vibe. I never had like full on like fantasy. I got to be in this glamorous world with you. I got to be in this glamorous world, but also I got to be guided, really lovingly guided at the same time. And I realized the Oedipal ramifications of admitting that out loud. but it's true. Twofold secret little compartment in all of your performances, and that's what's in there. I loved your book. I felt like I had been cheated though, because I wanted to be there firsthand, like all of the milestones. I wanted to be there firsthand for all of the milestones that you made it to. I wanted to see kind of the evolution. I feel like I missed that. Like, how did I miss that? I wasn't born yet, but that is no shade thrown away about how old you are now. I promise. My love for you as an artist, it just continues to grow, because every project that you produce, everything that you're a part of, like I said, is not only like a little seal of quality, but it's also your Steve Martin-ness never went away. That beautiful observer, goofball, seeking, philosophical, introspective person never went away. If anything, he just matured and focused on different things, so therefore got different results. But that's always been there, and I cherish that about it. I'm positive that's why you have been as successful as you have been for as long as you have. It's a testament to what you were doing all of this for in the first place. You weren't just trying to make money, because you certainly weren't in the beginning, and now it's really kind of mature. It's not the reason why you do things. I respect that about you, and I love that you were a counterculture dude and that you were pointing the spotlight on the expectations of a famous person, whomever that is. All of your over-the-top, egomaniacal kind of people that you portray are a nod to that. A lot of your work is very satirical and very philosophical and very kind-hearted at the root of it. And I will say that for The Jerk as well. A lot of people in today's, different time and place culture think that The Jerk is offensive in its dialogue or its storyline or its plot. The opening line to the movie is, "I was born a poor black child," and it's you, so you're definitely not a black man. So I think that rubs people the wrong way, but I never saw it that way. I always saw it as you are actually, through Naven, giving a shout out to a community and a culture in a time when that didn't really happen that often. You gave a platform to black actors that not only did that, but, for anybody who thinks that Naven is making, like you through Naven are making fun of anyone, the only person you're making fun of is Naven himself throughout the entire movie. How else would this hapless, painfully unself-aware guy, there's no way that he would say or claim that he was born a poor black child unless he were so completely enriched by that, the fact that he had an adoptive family, or the fact that he just has no idea how, as a white person, you can't say shit like that. Certainly not nowadays, and I think that's why people, when they watch it, and they don't give the movie a chance to flesh out that statement. They just see that the first few minutes and go, oh, okay, I always saw where you were going with it, and I always really appreciated the way that Naven's naivete and his reverence for his family is his literal saving grace in the movie. Plus, also, it's one of the funniest movies. Genuinely funny. Comes from a kind-hearted place. It's not making fun of anyone, but the title character. But he's so sweet and unaware. He doesn't know. He's just doing his thing. I think that's at the core of a lot of your work, is that this guy's just kind of an idiot, but he doesn't mean it. He just doesn't. He's just unaware. It's good to see characters like that, because then we can grow from them. That can be the starting point, and then we can grow from there. But we have to have that starting point. The culture has to support the art, and the art has to support the culture in order for it to really move on and really be what's accepted. So in that way, I think The Jerk helped to do that, even though it seems like it's the cause of that type of stuff. It's actually a bridge to better understanding and better material in that way. I will always have a special place in my heart for thermoses. The beach scene, Tonight You Belong to Me, is one of the most romantic scenes in a movie ever. The fact that she played the trumpet, I used to play the trumpet. It was very endearing, because you don't see a lot of glamorous trumpet players besides Louis Armstrong. In the movies, they're not really like, oh, look at this hot chick, she plays a trumpet. It's not very common, so it was really cool to see that. And they're dynamic, and just that at the end of the day, even though he got his ass kicked by the world at large, he still had a safe space to go back to. He still figured out that, he let it all get a little too much. That's food for thought, I guess, for anyone who hasn't seen that movie. Of course you have. So thank you for being a shining, bright beacon of performances for me throughout my entire life. You helped me with pain and confusion and loneliness, and ways in which you helped me through my life and still do. So thank you for that. Super excited for any artistic concoction you throw my way. Any person you collab with, anything, I'm there. I will check it out. And I hope you do that until you don't want to anymore. You've always helped me keep everything in perspective. Don't take myself too seriously, or anyone else, or anything else. Be as true to yourself as you can be. That's always the message I got. Pay attention to the everyday magic. That's the stuff that makes it all worthwhile. That's the only stuff that we really have on a daily basis to remind us why we're here. Thank you for those reminders. To remind myself. Like the reminding of, it's like a double reminder. Even if you walked away tomorrow, I would still have so many amazing legacies from you. And I'll continue to love them and pass them on. And if I'm ever in LA, be a blast to see all the hot spots. All the Mr. Steve Martin hot spots. I would love that.